15 pitchers tonight for both teams. Have you ever seen 5 pitchers in one inning?
Probably, but when you're on the good end of that, you'd like to see 10 in one inning if you can. So they're doing what we're doing, trying to find guys who can pitch for them down the stretch. And sometimes you can tell in one hitter if they can or they can't. So I don't blame them at all for doing what they were doing.
We'll go to Nick Farrell.
Coach, you had mentioned, I think after the Marshall game, that you were also looking for pitchers who can show up in big spots for you guys next weekend and in Oklahoma City. After this homestand, do you feel like you've got a better feel on which of those guys are ready?
Ben Abernathy pitched pretty well today. Bo Lowry keeps doing what Bo Lowry does, and put all those other guys in there to throw 94 to 97, and they don't get near as many outs as the guys that don't throw that hard. So at this point, we got to try and pitch the guys that can get the hitters out. I told you last week, I don't care if they kick at the home plate. If they can get a hitter out, they can get a hitter out.
Back to Sam. Go ahead.
I want to ask you about Ben. I'll just put it simply. What's the importance of having a utility guy that can play infield and pitching, especially down the stretch of the season like this?
Yeah, he started the first game at second base, got a hit, got a stolen base, and comes in and throws 2 pretty good innings. It's a pretty good day for a two-way guy, and we've got a history of two-way guys with, Zarb doing really well, and, he's kind of valuable on both ends. He's probably the fastest guy on our team, best base stealer, and has a really good slider. So there's a chance you'll see more of that cat going down the stretch.
Go ahead, Nick.
Coach, Tyler Dones had a really solid game today. What has he provided for you guys this season, particularly with a veteran presence in the dugout during a very trying season?
Yeah. It's funny you call it a trying season because guys like him are still trying, and that's what they've got to do. Sometimes the best thing for you in your career is to take some time off and evaluate things and take a rest. And he did that. He went on a stretch of games he didn't play much and got a chance to watch the Mountaineers play from the dugout. And when you do that, sometimes if you take it the right way, it's the best thing for you. And now he's doing some good things at home plate.
Hey, Coach, quick follow-up then. Let's, I guess, flip the script. You've got a lot of young guys that have really made some good contributions for you recently. How optimistic are you about the future of this program, knowing that you've been able to give so many opportunities to young guys, whether it's been because of injury or because they've earned it? And how can they build on that leading forward?
Yeah, this has been a year where you kind of had to play some guys you normally wouldn't have played. So it gives you a much better idea moving forward of what you got. Guys like, Braden Berry getting in there and Abernathy and those guys that are wouldn't have played otherwise have showed that, in the future, they got a chance to be good players. So we're always optimistic about the future of the program.
And Sam.
Kind of in a similar vein, Coach, Kevin Brophy played his last game at Monongalia County Ballpark today. Pretty solid game, 1 for 3 with a cute couple of runs and one of the closest plays of the plate I've ever seen. But what has he kind of meant to the program, and what has he brought to the dugout in this season?
Was he safe at home plate, by the way? Did you see the replay?
I'm not kidding. That was the closest play I've ever seen. The replay looked like his hand was over the plate, but you could not tell if he was actually touching the plate. It was by like a centimeter. It was close.
Yeah, Bro's been a lot of fun to have around. We kid him about, being 40 years old and all that stuff, but he's the guy that kind of takes care of every freshman class that comes in here because he's the upperclassman that knows the ropes and has been around the longest. And it seems like he's all the freshmen kind of look to him to see how we do it on the field, off the field, and he's always got a smile on his face and a great personality. He's going to be successful in life when he moves on after baseball. It's he's been around for 5 years now. It's been a long time since we hadn't had Brophy on the field. So I know from a personal standpoint, I sure am going to miss him.
Kevin Kinder and then Nick.
It's with a little bit of the shorter turnaround between your final series and the Big 12 tournament. Will guys be on a pitch limit, especially people that you're thinking might have to eat up some innings if you're going to make a run there?
Don't know that yet. It's you like to think, because whoever pitches Thursday is probably going to have to potentially maybe come around and pitch on Tuesday. So that kind of throws a little bit of a wrench into the plan. So I don't know if Wolf goes out there and he's pitching well against Texas. You got an opportunity to win a game at Texas against Texas. It'd be pretty hard to take a guy out of the game. We've done that in the past. Nick Snyder was pitching really well in the Big 12 championship game a couple years ago, and we took him out of the game so he could start the first game of the regional. And worked out for the first game of the regional, but it didn't work out for the Big 12 championship. So, that's something we got to talk about and think about and figure out how we're going to do that. Not anything that we've decided yet, but we'll just kind of see how it plays out.
Go ahead, Nick.
All right, Coach, are you ready for an obvious one?
Oh, boy.
So Texas.
None of them are obvious.
Right. So Texas is very much in the hunt for the Big 12 regular season title still. You guys certainly could use a few more wins before you get to Oklahoma City. How important is this series coming up, and what are you looking forward to seeing from your guys as you get another shot at a really top-tier team?
I actually think that we played pretty well this weekend because we played with a little to no pressure on ourselves, in the big scheme of things. These 4 games we played this weekend, win, lose, or draw, probably, I hate to say didn't matter much, but probably didn't matter as to whether we make the postseason or not. The games coming up are going to determine if we're going to be a postseason team. So, the fact that we did play with little to no pressure on us, guys were laughing more in the dugout, and it seemed like nobody was upset about anything, and we played pretty well. So if we take that mentality into Austin and say, hey, we got really nothing to lose, we don't win the tournament, we're not playing in a regional. So these games, there's no pressure on these games at all. Let's just go out and have fun. And when you do that, it's amazing how you seem to play better that way.